Welcome, book lovers, to the Pop-Ups and Paper Engineering chapter of this year's Most Beautiful Books of 2025 Annual Holiday Gift Guide. I love this sort of book and I can't wait to share some of this year's wonders with you. We've got everything here today, from reimagined classics and sculptural art pieces and fairy tales to my favourite gift of the year, which is a moving piece mystery. As usual, links and details for everything I mention are included in the description box below, and I've got a few guides to collecting pop-up books more generally linked there too. I'd like to start with interactive novels, big immersive narratives where the paper engineering is there to enhance the text rather than take over the whole stage. First up is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, illustrated by MinaLima, the latest in a gorgeous series of interactive classic novels they've designed. MinaLima are the graphic design studio behind the Harry Potter films, and here they've taken Mary Shelley's complete text and wrapped it in a really theatrical visual treatment. The pages are full of bold typography, ornamental borders, and full-colour illustrations that lean into the gothic drama of laboratories, graveyards, and stormy landscapes. Of course, we're here because of the paper engineering. This edition's got 7 interactive elements, including a fold-out version of Frankenstein's machine that you physically unlock to see the creature for the first time, a locket that opens to reveal an incriminating photograph inside, and a large map of Europe that unfolds so you can trace the monster's vengeful journey across the continent. All of these elements are linked to a key moment in the story. Next, we're moving to the interactive illustrated edition of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. The first 3 Harry Potter books in this style were produced by MinaLima, the illustrators and engineers behind the Frankenstein I just showed you, but the publishers changed direction for this one, which is illustrated by Carl James Mountford. The style is very similar, with more bold colour, decorative chapter openers and illustrations on almost every page spread. Stylistically, it does match the first 3, which is good news for collectors. I think MinaLima were going for something different with the series spines, but I'm sure it'll look good when the future books are all added to the collection. Like the other interactive Harry Potter titles, this one includes 8 engineered features that spotlight big cinematic moments in the story. Seeing the Goblet of Fire, the maze of the Triwizard Tournament, the Weasley family's tent at the Quidditch World Cup, a spread that lets you peer into the depths of the Hogwarts Lake, and even the dark mark blazing in the sky above you. And now we have Codex Regenesis, 5 Fables of Magic Misused by Hannah Batzel. I love this book so much, and I've already purchased several copies of gifts. I think it's my book of the year. Everything about it is gorgeous, from the central conceit that it's a found object, to the calligraphic text and bold interactive illustrations, to the pull-out letters and hidden content you can only access after solving a riddle based on the book. In the story, you're cast as an expert on occult texts, trying to figure out what happened to a missing antiquarian bookseller. All you have is this mysterious volume of 5 fables, each set in a different time and place, each hiding part of a larger riddle in an interactive spread. The whole book has a deliberately antique feel with its thick pages and lino-cut illustrations. Now, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but once you solve the riddles, you can unlock a compartment at the back of the book and reveal the end of the story. Next, I want to look at books where the subject of the design is design. Our first stop here is the massive Alphabet in Motion, How Letters Get Their Shape by Kelly Anderson. This is ostensibly an ABC book, but it's really an annotated tour through the history and mechanics of typography. Each spread in this fantastic book explores how letter forms relate to movement, space, and structure, inviting you to manipulate the paper and see how the shapes transform. The text reflects years of research in letterform evolution, and each pop-up embodies one of the typographic ideas she's talking about. I'm not exaggerating when I say there are hours of enjoyment and education from poring over the text and paper engineering in this book. And next I want to showcase the beautiful pop-up sculptures by Peter Darman. The book design is quite minimal, no text, lots of negative space and dramatic white paper sculptures that erupt from the book when you turn the pages. The focus here isn't on narrative but on form and geometry, symmetry and shadow, and how they combine for visual impact. It's a lovely mini gallery of clever contemporary paper sculpture. The next section's geared towards more educational pop-ups. First up we've got Museum, a pop-up by Dominique Erhard. This small pop-up packs a lot in a tiny space. It's designed as an homage to the French National Museum of Natural History, and it includes treasures like stones from the Mineralogy Gallery, Diplodocus and fossils from the Paleontology Gallery, birds, butterflies and an African caravan from the Grand Gallery of Evolution, and plates from the National Herbarium. Each gallery is accompanied on a double page with documentary texts. The Incredible Pop-Up Frog by Ben Hoare is an oversized book packed with facts about creatures from the world of wetlands. The art dives deep into different types of wetland habitats around the world, while the engineering uses a mix of large central pop-ups along with secondary flaps, wheels and tabs. It's aimed at curious middle schoolers, with the final page encouraging the readers to try creating their own wetland environment. There's also an earlier companion volume, The Incredible Pop-Up Bug, which I recommend as well. Rounding out this section, we've got Curious Cryptids. This takes a familiar animal guide approach, but the focus is on legendary creatures rather than real ones. We follow a fictional cryptozoologist, Dr. Soothfast, on a round-the-world tour of creatures that includes global legends along with regional classics like the Loch Ness Monster, Jersey Devil and the Chupacabra. The graphic art is by DC Comics illustrator, so it's got that bright cartoony feel, and the text is framed as a casebook, with bits of evidence and story fragments scattered across each spread. Now, I don't have either of these franchise tie-ins yet, so I can't review them for you, but I wanted to quickly mention them because they're coming out in the next few weeks. Wicked by paper engineer Matthew Reinhardt showcases lots of places from Oz, with Munchkin Land and the Emerald City and the Wicked Witch's Castle. Like several of his earlier works, the whole book's designed to unfold to make one huge pop-up map of Oz. The second one I want to mention here is also by Matthew, and that's the Avatar Ultimate pop-up book, which is timed to align with the release of Fire and Ash. I don't have any visuals of this book yet, but the blurb says it explores Pandora using artwork and lore from all three films and includes both creatures and ecosystems, so I'm anticipating good things. Back to more traditional storytelling, fairy tale and children's pop-ups are usually about magical transformations and stories you can share across generations. So first up, we've got Sleeping Beauty by Charles Perrault, illustrated by Anya Suzanne from the Gilded Fairy Tales or Enchanting pop-up series. And these are known for their ornate design and intricate pop-up scenes. Here, Perrault's version of the story is retold for a younger audience with nods to Tchaikovsky's ballet, and the whole book is trimmed with touches of metallic gilding that catch the light. The text sits in elegant panels around the artwork, and the theatrical pop-ups of key scenes usually take centre stage. Then we have The Adventures of Pinocchio by Carlo Collodi, with distinctive illustrations by Philip Giordano. Pinocchio's journey from puppet to real boy is already full of memorable imagery, and Giordano's graphic geometric compositions help make everything feel stylised and slightly surreal. The book's structured around a small set of major scenes that each get a pop-up treatment, and the engineering leans into clean, bold forms rather than elaborate detail. The Disney Cinderella pop-up book is Matthew Reinhardt's take on the animated classic. The artwork's new, but is clearly inspired by the classic Disney animation designed by Mary Blair. Reinhardt's known for his large, elaborate pop-up constructions, and although this is a very small pocket edition intended for children with only 5 spreads, he still manages to slip in a clever transformation scene. The new Gruffalo Pop-Up edition takes Julia Donaldson and Axel Scheffler's classic rhyming tale and reimagine it as a set of large three-dimensional tableaux in the deep, dark wood. The original text is kept intact, with key moments like the mouse's encounters with the fox, owl and snake, and of course the arrival of the Gruffalo himself, are staged as full scene spreads with sturdy pop-ups, with Scheffler's familiar artwork rebuilt in layered card. In case you're not watching this whole series, I want to quickly mention a couple of really delightful pop-up books published this year that I covered in an earlier chapter, and that's the absolutely adorable Moomins Find a Home and A Year in the Moominhouse. These are covered in more detail in my Moomins celebration, as it's their 80th anniversary, and I'll link that below if you'd like a closer look. Now, I'm a sucker for books that you can read by pulling out letters, but again, most of these are being covered in other videos, so I'm just going to quickly run through them here. Two of the titles are children's books, which include Letters from Wonderland and Mr. Tickle's Post. Letters from Wonderland was prepared for the 160th anniversary of Alice's arrival, and it's a hugely playful adaptation that's full of letters and riddles and games, and I think would appeal to any age. Mr. Tickle's Post is aimed at a more junior audience, but also contains lots of fun letters and postcards and other things to remove and read. I'm also going to review the Deluxe Letters edition of Pride and Prejudice in more detail in an upcoming video in the next couple of days. But this one's a fabulous celebration that includes removable period reconstructions of the letters and other ephemera that are part of the story. And last but not least, Marjolaine Bastian has a new book in her illustrated Jane Austen collection called Sanditon. The text includes 3 unfinished novels and some of Austen's childhood work, along with removable ephemera like newspapers and postcards and letters in removable envelopes. To finish, I wanted to highlight a couple of books that require a little extra effort to track down if you're outside their home countries. Océan, or Ocean, is a French pop-up tile by Elena Selena that offers 5 fairy tale-like delicate underwater scenes. Each spread focuses on a different facet of the sea. Shoals of fish, drifting sea jellies, seahorses and coral forests. The colour palette is soft and luminous, and the pop-ups look intricate with layers of cut card that curve and interlock to build reefs and kelp forests. And cutouts and negative space cast shadows to give a real sense of three-dimensional space. Elena has made several books like this one, celebrating different aspects of the natural world with publisher Gallimard Jeunesse. The Garden of Qi Bai Shi is a standout contemporary Chinese pop-up book. It's a three-dimensional exploration of the floral paintings of Qi Bai Shi, who is a hugely influential modern Chinese artist known for his expressive depictions of flowers and small animals like insects and shrimp. Paper engineer Zhang Haoyi has translated Qi's ink and brush compositions into a sculptural garden. Blossoms and leaves lift up and away from the page, with insects and other small creatures perching in hidden corners. As Qi's style often relies on the tension between bold colour and delicate ink washes, the pop-ups also play with contrast, with bright red flowers against inky black foliage, for example. There's been an explosion of incredible Chinese pop-up books in recent years, but they can be particularly difficult to track down in English-speaking countries. I've got a whole page exploring some of the nicest offerings on my website, which I'll add to the links below for anyone who's interested in these. It also comes with a beautiful scroll-style poster of artwork, but you'll need somewhere long to display it. Thank you for joining me on this little tour. There are a few more titles in the article that didn't make it into the video if you want more. And I'd love to know which type of paper engineering you're most drawn to. Interactive novels, or pop-ups, or pull-out letters, or, like me, all the clever things. Thank you so much for watching. The next video in this series will be up soon, so please do subscribe if you want to be notified about my reviews. Till next time, bye!